Hello YouTube and fellow sports cards collectors. This is Eric J and welcome to the channel. Today is another part of my series of showing completed sets that I already have. In this case we're going to be looking at 1989 Donruss and a couple of the factory sets that were available in that season. Like there's a rookie set and a traded highlights type set at the end of the year. I don't have any packs of 1989 Donruss right now, so this isn't the series I am currently planning on doing a pack fresh set with, but it's possible that I'll pick some of those up in the future. This particular set was one of 3 key sets that I put together with my mother in the late 80s, into the early 90s, I guess, because 88, 89, and 90 Donruss. Figured I'd start with 89 Donruss as showcasing the set because of the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie that's in it. In any case, you can see the puzzle pieces for Warren Spahn. We'll start with this and just kind of thumb through the set and bring, as we see players that are notable, we might mention them. You'll see at the start here we got some of the rookies set. This puzzle came with that. So like Gary Sheffield is there. Greg Jeffries, who of course was much hyped and didn't quite turn out to be the player that everyone had thought he might be. Then the Ken Griffey Jr. from this portion of the set is up here. Of course, Tom Gordon. It's also a notable player. Edgar Martinez, of course, is a Hall of Fame inductee here in 2019. Dante Bichette's son, Bo, is getting close to the majors. Randy Johnson, of course, Hall of Famer. And we'll see Omar Vizquel, who's starting to get some support amongst the writers. Now getting into the regular set, we got the team MVPs by Donruss. Number of Hall of Famers as you look through these. One for each of the 26 teams at the time. And then into the Diamond Kings, subset within the core set. I always enjoyed these cards. The artwork on them was quite nice in my opinion, and different from a lot of other cards. And getting into the rated rookie subset, of course the Griffey Jr. is one of the highlight cards here. And Sheffield, and of course, is Jeffries, as we mentioned in the rookies little factory sealed set that I had displayed here in pages. This Griffey was one of the cards that I chased pretty heavily in 1989, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that did. And Randy Johnson. Granted, Randy Johnson wasn't one of those players that we were chasing quite as heavily back then, as early on in his career he wasn't quite the same as later on. He had a little bit of control problems early on in his career. And again, there'll be a lot of Hall of Famers. I'm not going to point out all of them, but you'll see as we page through, there's quite a few of them. Lee Smith for this year. You can say going Bonds up here, and the McGuire. I think that these cards, with how colorful they were, they kind of stood out to me at the time I was collecting these. I'd have been, about 11 when these cards came out. So when you compare these to the top set, and even Topps Flair and Upper Deck, and the other three major releases from this year, this one had a lot more color pop to it than the gray of the Flair, or the white design used by Topps, or the white borders also with the Upper Deck set. Another Hall of Famer here with Gwen. And our Nolan Ryan, Dave Winfield. Mike Schmidt, getting pretty close to the end of his career with that card. '89, the peak of Bo Jackson, made the All-Star team that year. Second year Robbie Alomar. Second year Grace, who's a pretty good player through the 90s. Just a lot of players that got to see at this time, so they're kind of embedded in my memory because 11-year-old learning about baseball. A lot of the current players are ones that are really going to stick out. Molitor, even players that turned out to not be all that great, you do have some memories of because you watched them. So I happen to have cable. That's one of the things my family had, so I got to see a lot of Braves and Cub games on TBS and WGN. So a lot of those players kind of stick out for one reason or another because I got a chance to see quite a few of their games. Because despite being a Brewers fan, if my choice was to, not watch baseball or watch the teams that I didn't necessarily follow, I'd watch the teams I didn't necessarily follow. Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams is part of the front office of the White Sox these days. Maddox. 89 was one of the first years that Maddox really started to come out of his, started to show some of his potential. And he had 18 wins in 1988 with a 3.18 ERA, but 89 and onward is when he started to prove that he could do it over again before he became extraordinarily dominant. After he left the Cubs and became a Brave. Of course, also a lot of the Oakland A's from this time frame are also notable because you would have been watching them in postseason play. They won the '89 series against the Giants in a World Series that was interrupted by an earthquake. Suter, towards the tail end of his career, he is a Hall of Famer. Like they call Boyd by his nickname, Oil Can. Good nickname, memorable nickname. Brady Anderson. Saw him early on in his career. You'd never thought he would hit 50 home runs at one point. Early Caminiti. Biggio showing him early career when he was catching more than playing second base, and then later the outfield. Schilling. That should be his rookie card. Yeah, it is. Smoltz rookie. Don Martinez. another insert set, Grand Slam cards. And then we get into the traded or an update. I don't remember exactly what they called it in 1989. Mitch Williams was part of a deal with the Cubs to get Rafael Palmeiro there. I may have missed the Palmeiro. Yeah, Palmeiro's back a couple pages. And then this is the last page for the cards here. So that is 1989 Donruss and a couple of the sealed factory sets for Donruss from that season, from that series and season. So we'll end here. If you enjoyed watching the video, please feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, or subscribe. It's all appreciated. We'll look forward to talking to you in a future video. Thanks and bye.